I plan to munch this month of May. As always, I have chosen 3 books to read this month of May, but of course, since I'm getting a little bit faster, I have chosen one considerably thicker book than I would normally choose, and fingers crossed, I'm also going to start or finish a 4th book this month. But again, I have not chosen a 4th book just because I don't want to disappoint myself if I do not get to it. However, I have 3 books that I will finish this month. The first book I am reading is one that I really shouldn't be reading because it is the last book that I bought, and I said that I was gonna wait before reading it because I have bought so many books over the last few months, and you know, I was like, no, my TBR is too long. I can't just go to the new shiny book on my shelf. I must read one of the older new books that I have on my shelf that have been sitting there for years or more. But when it comes to books, I seem to have no discipline. I buy them when I don't need them, I read them when I shouldn't, and so I ended up being like, you know what? I want to read it, so I'm gonna read it! So I recently began Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. Now, I feel like we've all heard about this book. It's becoming like on the level of Harry Potter apparently, and everyone's raving about it, and so I feel like the whole world knows about it. But if you don't know about Children of Blood and Bone, it is a new fantasy book on the scene written by Tomi Adeyemi, and apparently is related in some magical, mystical way to the current day and age and racism and police brutality, but told from a magical, epic fantasy point of view. It has 3 main perspectives. I consider the main goal to be Zili or Zele Adebola, who is a magi, which means that she can summon magic, but it's a world where magic has been eradicated by an evil king who was kind of like jealous of those that had magic in their blood, so he stopped the magic, and so she still has the ability to conjure magic should magic ever return. So there's a bunch of people like her. Actually, maybe they're not called magi. I think when they have the magic they're called magi, but without the magic they're called diviners. And so the diviners are kind of bullied and they have a lot of prejudice against them, and then one day when things are really destitute and it looks like, you know, they're gonna die, the whole family, it looks like everything is just going to hell. So she ends up going to the city she normally wouldn't go, and there she ends up colliding with a rebel princess who has a key to how they can bring back magic, but the crown prince does not want magic to come back. And also it says on the back of the cover, yet the greatest threat may be Zeli herself, as she struggles to control her powers and her growing feelings for an enemy. So like I say, I've just started it, but I'm guessing from the gist of this that she is going to fall for the evil crown prince that is trying to ruin everything. The second book that I'm reading this month is another first in series, so I'm very excited to be starting all these series. I think it's a series. Okay, I just googled and it is not a series, so this is pretty interesting for me. I think it's going to be my first standalone fantasy book, and that is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. Morgenstern, is that not Mortal Instruments? So The Night Circus sounds like one big bunch of fantasy magic in one glorious evening, if I'm not mistaken. It says that the night circus appears when seconds before it was not there, so it seems like you're just walking around and then a night circus appears and you go into one glorious adventure over the nighttime, and then the day comes and the night circus is gone, and that's the end of the story. The third and final book I will be reading this month is also a first in series. Well, actually, okay, we established that Night Circus is not a series, but it's also a brand new story, brand new world that I have yet to tumble into, and that is The Alchemist by, I want to say Nicholas Flamel, but no, Nicholas Flamel is the series name. The series is The Secrets of the Immortal Nicholas Flamel, and the first book is called The Alchemist, and the author is called Michael Scott. So this is The Alchemist by Michael Scott in the Nicholas Flamel series. I've heard a lot of great things about this, and of course with the series called The Immortal Nicholas Flamel, I'm, you know, already excited about the immortal aspect of this. So the story sounds really captivating. There is a man called Nicholas Flamel who was born in 1330, and it says that he died in 1418, but however, he's still alive and it's 700 years later since he was born. He's still alive because he's been creating the elixir of life, and he has the recipe or something, I'm guessing from the blurb, something related to how to make the elixir of life in this book that he's protecting, which was given to him, or that he found, from a mage called Abraham, so he's protecting this, but there is, of course, an evil villain. This evil villain is called Dr. John Dee, and he wants to destroy the world, and somehow using the book and the spells or something, he is able to do that. I'm not entirely sure why, I don't know what his motives are, but this guy, Dr. John, wants to destroy the world, and of course Nicholas Flamel wants to stop him from destroying the world, and then somehow our main characters Sophie and Josh become entangled in this epic prophecy battle on how to save the world from a crazy doctor. And that is all for the books I plan to munch this month of May. What are you reading this month? Have you read any of the books that I'm going to read this month? What did you think if you have read them? And yes, just fill me in. If you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. And if you like all my other videos, then please consider subscribing. And until next time, I'll see you. Bye!